institution. And so with that mid-sized institution, it allows us to do a couple things well. First of all, we offer some large-scale resources, but also the small school benefits. So when I mean large-scale resources, I mean having over 140 different majors. I mean, these are things all over the spectrum. We have an incredible arts and sciences program. Our School of Education is top-notch, actually has over 90% pass rate on the certification exam in Texas. Students have the opportunity to emphasize in different areas of engineering and computer science. Our pre-med program is probably our most popular program. It has over 71% acceptance rate to med school, which is double the national average for students. And so they're very prepared to actually get into med school, and we'll prepare you by showing you which courses that you need to take, as well as giving you guidance on the application process. We've also got an incredible pre-law program, which has over an 87% acceptance rate to law school. And we have a law school on our campus, so students are very well prepared. And then our business school is another kind of one of our powerhouse programs. We've got over 12 different business majors that students can choose between, as well as several different concentrations on different programs. And so our entrepreneurship program was ranked number 7 by the Princeton Review in the nation. We've got the 3rd highest pass rate on the CPA exam. And then students have the option to do like our marketing major with a sports strategy and sales concentration. So plenty of different options for students to consider. We've also got an incredible honors program. And with our honors college, you can choose between either 2 academic majors or 2 programs. So for the academic majors, you can either do University Scholars or Great Text. Great Text is a major for students who want to study like Western text, text from the Western tradition. So that would be things like philosophy and literature. That's going to be kind of the emphasis of that program. We've also got the University Scholars major, which is where you can do a combination of different programs of study. So for University Scholars students, you have the option to do a combination of maybe economics and international relations and history, or you could do something in the sciences and really create a program that works well for you. And then once you complete your University Scholars program, you'd graduate with a BA in University Scholars, and then you would just have to kind of clarify the different concentrations. We've also got the honors program, which is where you can complete all of your major requirements. And so this isn't a major. So for say, if you wanted to do a degree in biology, you can do that, and you complete all of your honors majors requirements, as well as taking some additional programs that give you the honors designation. And then lastly, we've got Baylor Interdisciplinary Core, which again is just a program. It's not a major. You complete all of your major requirements, but then you take all of your required core classes, would be liberal arts courses. And so you take classes like the Exam in Life, Rhetoric, World Cultures, and Human Policy. So that's a little bit about our honors program. Regardless of what program that you're going to pursue, our faculty are pretty incredible. Over 71% of them have a PhD or earned doctorate in their field, and then over 90% of them are full-time. And so we really do have experts who are teaching our students, and they are more than qualified to teach our students. So what questions do y'all have about academics, or are there specific academic areas you want to hear more about? You can feel free to unmute yourself and ask.
Do you have a major surrounding communication, like communication disorders or speech pathology?
Yes, great question. We do. We've got a communication sciences and disorders program. And so with that program, you will be required to take some sign language courses, as well as some specific like communication sciences courses as well. And there's a lot of research opportunities there. And we've got like an in-person lab where you can get some like hands-on experience. Good question. What other questions do y'all have? Okay, well, if you have questions, feel free to hold on to them, and I'll have plenty of time for questions later. In addition to just being a student, we also want you to get involved in the different areas of student life. And so There are a couple different options for that. We've got over 330 different student organizations that you can get involved with. And these are things all over the spectrum. A very popular way for students to get involved is by joining Greek Life. And at Baylor, we do Greek Life pretty differently. So about 40% of our students are involved in Greek Life, which is just a great number because it really doesn't run our campus. And so if you want to be involved with a fraternity or sorority, you definitely can, but there's no pressure to do so. And we don't rush students until the second semester. And so you do have that first semester just to experience what life is like on campus before you decide to get involved. With our Greek life programs, we've got Christian fraternities and sororities. We've got ones that are focused on service and leadership, as well as our historically Black fraternities and sororities. And then we've got the Multicultural Greek Council, which has several different Greek organizations for students of Latin descent and students of Asian descent. We've got several intramural opportunities if you're wanting a chance just to get involved. Students love to go out and play intramurals, and these are things all over the spectrum. We've got almost golf, which is kind of like campus golf, or we've got a 3-on-3 basketball. There's a ping pong tournament every year. Plenty of different options. We also have club sports. If you are wanting to play and you're a serious athlete, but you're not necessarily wanting to compete on a Division I level, then club sports is a great opportunity for you. In addition to that, we've also got a Division I athletics team, and students love to come out and cheer on the Bears. That you get guaranteed admission to all of your games, whether that's the equestrian teams, meets, or the tennis center, which is located right off University Parks, and it's absolutely beautiful. And so you can go and cheer on your friends there. Students love to come to our basketball games, and it's super fun to be in the fan section there. And then we've got an incredible acrobatics and tumbling team as well, which is consistently ranked #1. But the football experience is kind of like none other. I always like for students who've never been to a football game or seen a football game on TV, I always like to kind of paint a picture for you. And so as a freshman, you are going to wake up and put on your gold line jersey. And the gold line jersey is what every freshman gets. It's kind of your mark of being a freshman. It'll have the Baylor line on the front, then it'll have your name and class year on the back. And then some people will put like fun nicknames on the back. And then you walk over the bridge to McLean Stadium. And so if you can see the picture, there is water surrounding the stadium on the eastern side. And we're actually one of the only waterfront stadiums in the state of Texas. And so what's really cool about Baylor is that people will tailgate right before the game on boats. We like to call it sailgating, which I think is just kind of fun. But there are plenty of opportunities to enjoy the water, enjoy the weather before the game. And then once the game starts, everybody kind of packs into the field except for the freshmen. Their experience is a little bit different. So at the beginning of the football game, all the freshmen will kind of be corralled to the corner of the field. And then the upperclassmen will kind of hold back this line of freshmen, this kind of wall of freshmen. And the freshmen will be kind of chomping at the bit, ready to get out. So they'll play a hype video on the Jumbotron, and it'll say something like "Release the Beast." And the beast is actually the freshman. And so once they put that, then all the freshmen will do a mad dash for the 40-yard line as fast as they can. And then once they hit the 40-yard line, all the freshmen will kind of split the field and make a human tunnel. Then the Baylor football players will run through the human tunnel. After that, we take these really riled up freshmen and put them right in the best seats in the house, which is above the opposing team's bench, where our freshmen can give them some Christian encouragement. So plenty of opportunities there. And then another incredible tradition that students really enjoy at Baylor is Mosaic Mixer. And this is such a cool event for students because it's where all the multicultural organizations on campus are kind of showcasing their different organizations and can tell you more about what it's like to be a student in that organization. And so for Mosaic Mixer, they also end the night with a big showcase where some organizations will do a step routine or dancing. Some organizations will sing, and it really is up to the organization. And every year, the title of who wins the showcase is kind of coveted, and you get bragging rights for the next year. But I would highly encourage you, once you come to Baylor, definitely stop by Mosaic Mixer. There's plenty of free food, and that showcase is just fantastic. And Mosaic Mixer does showcase all of our multicultural affairs organizations. We've got over 40 different organizations that students can get involved with. And these are things kind of all over the spectrum, whether you're interested in our Black Student Union or our Latinx Coalition or our Coalition of Asian Students. We've got so many opportunities for students to get involved. We also have the Greek life, so fraternities and sororities, and then several academic organizations specifically for multicultural students. Ultimately, we do want you to leave Baylor prepared. And so a lot of people ask, kind of how will I be prepared to get a job after I graduate from Baylor? I mean, I think that's just a great question. And so a couple of things that we do is first ensure that you're going to be successful during your time at Baylor. And this is a Paul L. Foster Success Center. And that is a center for students who are needing help during their classes. They offer free tutoring, as well as student success initiatives to ensure that you're getting access to as many resources as possible. But we also have our Career Center down here too. And that's where students can get career guidance and coaching. We have internship opportunities available, and our career counselors will kind of help you discern what area is best for you or kind of talk through different options for you. We also bring career fairs to campus every single year. And that's just important because different employers really love our students, and they know that we have a very rigorous program and the students excel at Baylor. And so our employers really do come often to recruit and promote their businesses at Baylor because they have seen that the students who come from Baylor are such a high caliber. And so we've got several partnerships with employers in the business field, in the sciences, in school districts, and in human services organizations are constantly looking for Baylor students. Now, how to apply? Before I jump into that, do you have any questions just about like student life or about opportunities post-grad? Any questions that I can answer for you? Okay, well then I'll get into the application process, and then if you'll have some, think of some questions, then you definitely get those addressed later. So there are 4 main steps to submitting your application to Baylor. First of all, you are going to need to apply via Common App, Apply Texas, or Go Baylor. Now, Go Baylor is the easiest, but you can apply whichever way you would like to. And the application is free of charge. As I like to say, if it's for free, it's for me. So great thing to do, even if you're not completely sure about Baylor. There's really no risk here because it's free of charge. And you'll need to be aware of the different decision plans, and we can talk about that in a second. Once you've submitted your application, you'll need to create a Go Baylor account. And so the Go Baylor account will be where you are notified of whether you are missing any required items, or if you need to submit your recommended items, you can do that through Go Baylor. You can also receive your admissions decision through Go Baylor and apply for scholarships there as well. So plenty of opportunities. So once you've created that Go Baylor account, you'll need to submit a couple required items. That's your transcripts, grades 9 through 11, your essay, which is between 250 and 650 words, and then we're test optional, but you have the option to submit your SAT and ACT scores if you would like. And for students who are kind of wondering if you should apply test optional or not, I would encourage you just to take a look at your transcripts. If you feel like your academic experience and your record speaks for itself, then maybe you could feel confident applying test optional, then you definitely feel free to do that. About 50% of our students apply test optional. And so if you're looking for an idea, it's not going to hurt you to apply test optional. One other thing to consider is that if you have a lot of A's and B's, then that's kind of what our admissions committee is looking for. If you have a lot of C's, then it could be helpful to submit a test score as just like an additional piece of academic information. And if you have questions about that, we can definitely answer those at the end. Then lastly, there are a couple recommended items. That's a resume or ZME profile 2 letters of recommendation, and a short answer response. The resume is just a list of all the things you've been involved with in high school. The letters of recommendation can be from anybody who knows you well, but we do encourage teachers and counselors and just academic professionals to submit these just so we can get some more information about your academic experience. But it can be from a pastor or a coach or any like a small group leader, anything like that. And then lastly, the short answer response is different than the essay. And so for the essay, it's 250 to 650 words, and there are 8 different prompt options that you can submit. It's just asking you like, you know, about more information about you. So you can ask like, if you had a ticket to anywhere, where would you go? Or tell us about a time that you've overcome a challenge, things like that. We just want to get to know you a little bit better. The short answer is asking you specifically, why do you want to come to Baylor? What are you looking for in a college? And then how will you contribute to the community? And so there's a big difference in what those questions are asking. But the essay is required and the recommended short answer is optional. And so we talked a little bit about the different decision plans, and I just want to briefly touch on those a little bit. And so we've got early decision, which is binding, and that's for students who say, you know, I love Baylor, this is my first choice. If I get in, then I will deposit and enroll. So for early decision students, you're actually signing a contract saying that if you get accepted to Baylor, you are going to come. Once you submit your application on early decision, you will be required to submit an early decision agreement, as well as your parents and your counselor. And so that's a contract that I was talking about. And so just make sure that you know that if you apply early decision, you know what you're signing. We also have early action. That's non-binding. And so once you submit your application by November 2nd, you'll receive a decision by January 15th at the latest. And so if you're serious about Baylor, I would encourage you to apply either early decision or early action. You don't have to do the binding one, but just definitely submit on the early deadline because you have the best chance of getting in if you apply on that November 2nd track. We do have early decision too and a regular admission deadline, but I would encourage you to submit the November 2nd one just because you are going to have the best chance of getting accepted because again, 70% of our class is accepted on that track. And so it's just so much more competitive the later you wait. And then as far as financial aid, we give academic scholarships that are based on GPA, class rank, and test scores. You don't have to submit anything for these. I'm sorry, this year they're not based off of test scores, excuse me. This year they're just based off of your transcripts. And so we will automatically review you for them. You don't have to submit anything. And so you'll just complete your academic file or your application file. And then once you do that, we'll simultaneously review you for admission and scholarships. So once you get admitted, you'll be notified of if you received a scholarship. We also give students need-based aid. So you're gonna need to submit the FAFSA and the CSS profile in order to be considered for these. These open on October 1st, and then the priority deadline is November 2nd. And so if you are wanting some additional aid, I'd highly encourage you to submit those. And then we have a couple of additional scholarship programs for students. These range from $1,000 all the way up to a full ride. And so you can apply for these scholarship programs on your Go Baylor account, but there are quite a few of them and you can kind of pick which one that you would be most interested in. Questions about any of this?